Hey, Meave, let's have steak for dinner today.
I'm sorry, what did you just say? Did I hear you right? Did you really say steak?
That's right, I said steak. I was talking to the neighborhood ladies the other day, and they were saying that it's nice to be treated to steak every now and again. Apparently, their daughters-in-law and sons-in-law are always going out of their way to treat them to this or that. It seems that you need to step up your game, Meave. Next to them, I had nothing to brag about because you never go out of your way to do anything nice to me. So I thought to myself, why don't I go and get my daughter-in-law to treat me to some nice steak? There's that nice butcher's opposite your house, isn't there? I heard that their steak is particularly good. Go and ask for their highest quality beef steak and bring it over to my place. Then you can cook it for us and we can have a nice family feast.
Why are you asking for the highest quality steak all of a sudden? Do you have any idea how much that is going to cost? I think it will be a little difficult for us to afford that on a whim in our current financial situation. We're not in a position to just randomly splurge whenever we want to. We need to stick to a strict budget, and this is very much out of budget.
Oh, just go ahead and buy it for me already. Why are you talking so much? I'm sure you're exaggerating. It's not going to be that expensive. Let's see. So, I'll invite you and my son and my daughter and her husband over, so I suppose you can get enough to serve 8 people. That should be enough, I think.
I'm sorry, what? Why on earth would I get steak for 8 people when there's only going to be 5 of us eating? That doesn't make any sense. And besides, you know that my husband and I are struggling at the moment. If I spend that much at once, I'll have to tighten my belt for the rest of the month.
Stop making excuses and just do as I say. Now hurry up and go and buy it. I'll be waiting here for you. Well, I suppose I should be happy that you at least went and bought them for me, but why are you so stingy? You really went and scrimped as much as you possibly could, huh?
But I went and bought the exact expensive high-quality steak you asked for. What are you complaining about now?
When I asked you to get 8 people's worth of steak, I didn't actually expect you to come back with just 8 people's worth. You should have read the room and come back with at least enough to feed 10 people.
So, are you not full after eating all that? Why would you say something like that after it's obvious that you enjoyed the meal? It just caught me off guard a little to hear that you were still dissatisfied after I did exactly what you told me to do. There's no way the 5 of us would be able to finish enough steak for 10 people.
It's not like you don't have money, so I don't get why you're being so tight-fisted.
I really don't understand what's gotten into you today, Lois. You know that my husband and I are struggling because we both had to build up everything we have from scratch without receiving any help at all. We have had to make every penny count for the past few years, so I don't know why you keep saying that you think I have money when I really don't.
Well, my philosophy is that life is too short to not always be eating the tastiest thing available. Is it really that bad of me to want to eat something nice every now and again? Or are you going to deny me even that pleasure? Or are you going to make me feel guilty just for wanting to enjoy my food? Do you think that spending a little money on your mother-in-law is that much of a waste? Do you just want to keep all of your money to yourself? Is that it?
No, Lois, you know that's not the case.
Everyone in the neighborhood, listen up. This daughter-in-law of mine is trying to starve me to death. Everyone, come and look at how badly she's been mistreating me.
Lois, you know I would never do anything like that.
Whatever. I thought you were economically savvy and had a good head on those shoulders, but it turns out I was completely wrong about you. Now you're just showing me your true colors. Now I can see how petty you are. You think that when people get old, they should just crawl into a corner and die, don't you? I really misjudged your character, you know. You've let me down a lot, Meave.
Seriously, I can't believe this.
Honey, have you patched things up with my mom yet?
I told her that I was sorry and I bought her some homemade cookies as a peace offering. Thankfully, she seemed to accept my apology.
This is why you should have just done as my mom said in the first place. There was no need for you to be so stubborn.
You as well? What has gotten into people in your family these days?
Whatever, it's all in the past now. By the way, have you gone to see my sister's cafe yet?
Yeah, I went over the other day. I thought she was wanting to go for somewhere big, so to be honest, it was much smaller than I had expected. I think your mom was also a little disappointed with the size of it.
Yeah, you're right. It is a little small. I know it would be better for her to get a bigger premises, but that was all she could afford. I'm a little worried that things are going to be hard for her from the outset.
And why is that any of my concern?
What's gotten into you? I'm just telling my wife about my family problems. Am I not allowed to do that?
Fine, sorry. Go ahead and say whatever it was you wanted to say.
It looks like she's going to need to do some expansion work to make it into a workable place. But in order to do that, she's going to need some money.
Again, I don't know why you're bringing this whole money thing up with me.
She'll need about $40,000, I reckon. Would you be able to lend that to her?
Why do you and your mom both keep asking me about money? Do you really think that I have $40,000 right now?
We're family. There's no need to be so stingy. Don't tell me you're saying you couldn't trust a family member to pay you back. As soon as business starts to go well for her, she'll pay you back straight away.
It's hard enough for just you and I to get by with our combined salaries. And we still haven't paid off the house or the loans we took out in order to finance the wedding. Do you not realize the severity of our financial situation right now?
Are you really going to make me say it? You have money, and I know it. My mom saw that you have an extra bank account with a load of money in it. Mom, tell Maeve about what you saw on her laptop that time. She keeps playing dumb and it's getting really annoying now.
What exactly did you see, Lois?
Well, when I was at your house the other week, I caught a glimpse of your laptop open on the kitchen table and your online banking page was open. It showed that you had an account separate from your regular one with more than $40,000 in it. Why have you been hiding that money from us, your family? I feel as it's only right for you to use that money to help out my daughter in her time of need.
Do you even know what that money is, Lois? It's the money from the savings account I opened as soon as I got a job. It's money that I've been diligently saving for a long time. Are you really expecting me to just give it all away for free?
Of course not. It would just be a loan. Don't tell me that you don't think my daughter is going to pay it back to you. She would pay you back generously, even including interest if she has to.
Well, that would only be if her business goes well, which we can't be sure about at this moment of time. Why would I lend such a huge amount of money to invest in a business that may or may not fail?
The more I listen to you, the more I think you're being a little too harsh here. Are you saying that you think my sister isn't capable of running a business well?
I am not saying that she isn't capable. I'm just saying that she's never tried to run her own business before, and these things are also often dependent on external factors. So we have no idea whether things are going to work out for her or not. It's important to always consider the worst case scenario in these situations and try not to be too optimistic. On the off chance that her business does fail and she can't pay me back my money, then what? That would be me just throwing away $40,000, wouldn't it?
That is really mean of you to say, you know. You basically just outright called my sister a scammer.
Oh dear. Money is a terrifying thing. It can tear families apart and make them think all sorts about each other.
I have worked really hard over the years to save this money, you know. I was planning on investing it when I felt the time was right. And as for you, Flynn, you should have been saving money as soon as you started working full-time as well. How come you don't have any savings? It's not my fault that I made better financial decisions than you. Why are you coveting my hard-earned cash instead?
Why are you drawing such a definitive line between my property and yours? We're family now, are we not? I thought when we got married we basically agreed that what's yours is mine.
That's right. When a woman gets married, she should be prepared to invest all of her money in her new family. Quite frankly, it's disgraceful for you to behave like this towards your own husband.
I'm sorry, Lois, but I don't have any intention of lending that money to anyone, and I'm not obliged to lend it to anyone, family or otherwise.
Here we are, having swallowed our pride to ask you for this money, and you're acting like the world revolves around you just because you have a little money to your name.
I don't think you have the right to say that to me when you're the ones trying to force me into giving you that little money.
Are you really gonna insist on acting like this? You'd better tell my mom that you're gonna lend her that money right this instant.
Do you really think this is the way to get me to lend you the money? With every single word that comes out of your mouths, I become less and less inclined to want to give you anything. You're just straight up asking for my money, aren't you? How is this any different from daylight robbery?
What? How dare you accuse us of such a thing? You are so obsessed with money that you've clearly forgotten about your sense of duty to the family. Don't you ever think about seeing me ever again. Are you crazy? How dare you talk to my mom like that?
How dare you talk to me like this? Since when was this how you treated your wife?
You're the one who needs to watch how you talk to both me and my mom.
I really don't know what possessed me to choose someone like you as my husband. The way you're acting right now has left me speechless. Now, let me ask you, what on earth makes you so confident that you have the right to ask for my money like that?
How many times do I need to explain to you that I'm not asking you to give my sister the money? I'm asking you to lend it to her. And don't even get me started on everything I have to say about you keeping that money hidden away from me. We are a married couple. We shouldn't be keeping big secrets like that from each other. Why didn't you tell me about that money? You just wanted a slush fund for yourself, didn't you? Be honest with me.
A slush fund? Now, what exactly do you take me for? Of course I thought about telling you. You are my husband at the end of the day. I was actually planning on telling you about it and what my intentions were this week, but the reason that I kept it from you was because knowing you and that personality of yours, you would just go and blow all the money on something useless instead of saving it for our future. I want to invest the money I've saved and pay back our debt so we can move into a bigger house. We've been putting off trying for a baby because of money issues as well, haven't we? But instead, you want to give all of that money to your sister? And I know that your mom is also thinking about what she could do if she got her hands on the money as well. She's acting so entitled to it that anyone would think that it was her money and not mine.
I suppose you don't even understand because you don't have kids of your own yet. But my mom is just looking out for her daughter. That's why she has been acting like this. Why is it so hard for you to understand that? My sister has already hired the contractors, and they've already started knocking down walls for the expansion to take place. It won't be that long until they start asking for their payment. Are you really gonna leave her in the lurch right now?
What? Things have already gone that far?
Yep, that's right. Hearing that makes you think that you should really help out ASAP, right?
Of course not. You are obviously completely out of your mind. I never once said that I was going to lend her the money, did I? And yet she's already started on everything based on the assumption that she's going to be able to use my money? I can't believe the audacity of you all. Every single one of your family members are shamefully audacious.
Hey, that is not very nice.
Well, you haven't been very nice to me either, have you? What on earth makes you think that anything about this situation is okay? Oh, actually, I can think of one way to help your sister out, actually.
What? What is it?
Your car is still in pretty good condition, isn't it? How about we just sell your car and then you can give your sister that money to help her out with her business? Or is it suddenly different when you're the one person losing out in this situation? How does it feel to have to make sacrifices to help your sister out? Not good, huh? So, stop asking me to make sacrifices for your family when you're not willing to make them yourself. Or we can just terminate this rental contract and give her the money we would get back from the deposit.
And then you would use the money that you have to get us a new place, right?
Of course not. I would take it with me and go far, far away from you.
What? Are you saying that you're planning on divorcing me?
I am not going to give your sister a single penny of my money, and that's final. If you don't want to use either of the methods I just suggested to get her the money, you'll have to go and think of something else by yourself. But to be honest, your sister's cafe isn't in a good location, and I do not have confidence in her management skills. Why is she going ahead with this renovation when she neither has the money to afford it nor the skills to make sure that her business does well?
You really are going a little too far now.
What is going on here? Can you explain to me why I came home from work to find that the whole house is a mess? And why is all of your mom's stuff at her house mixed in with all our stuff? Your mom isn't even here and she won't pick up my calls, so you'd better explain to me what's going on here.
Oh, my mom put her house up for sale. She's gonna be living with us from now on.
What? Your mom put her house up for sale and now she's coming to live in our house?
Yeah. You should be grateful that she agreed to take the spare room and that she's not expecting us to vacate the master bedroom for her.
I really can't believe this. What on earth do you think you're playing at here?
You told me to find some other way to help my sister, so I did. If my mom sells her house and moves in with us, she can give the money from the house sale to my sister to help her with her business. And then when my sister starts earning good money, she'll pay my mom back and she'll be able to move into her own place again. My mom has been really lonely since we all moved out. It'll be really nice for her to spend some time with you. You can use this as an opportunity to really bond with her.
If you were planning on doing something like this, shouldn't you have at least discussed it with me first?
If I had told you in advance, would you have agreed to this? Of course you wouldn't have. That's why I didn't tell you in advance. I didn't want to give you the chance to disagree and kick up a fuss. Anyway, there's not much you can do about any of this now, so you might as well just start adjusting to our new situation. You'd better go out of your way to be nice to my mom, because she's really disappointed with the way that you've been behaving. Oh, and by the way, I'm going on a business trip as of today. I'll be gone for 3 days, so you'd better use that time to sort out all of my mom's stuff and make her feel at home.
Is this really happening right now? Have you actually gone crazy?
Well, this would never have happened if you had just lent my sister the money in the first place. You're the one who forced us all into this situation. Remember that.
We'll talk about this again when you get back. Your mom is here now.
Is everything okay, Meave? What was that noise I heard when we were talking on the phone before you hung up all of a sudden? I thought I heard Lois's voice just before you hung up, and it seemed like she was cursing you out.
Wait a second, Mom.
What's happening? What's going on here?
When I got home from work today, all of Lois's stuff was in our house. When I asked my husband about it, he told me that she had put her house up for sale and that she would be living with us from now on.
What on earth? And they just decided that by themselves without even consulting you about it?
Yes, that's right. And it was Lois that you heard yelling at me earlier. She came in and started shouting that I needed to stop what I was doing and unpack her stuff for her straight away.
How dare she talk like that to my precious daughter? To be honest, I was a little uncomfortable when she said you two needed to make sure to find a house close to her place, and sure enough, my intuition was right. I think she's been planning to move in with you guys for a long time.
No, that's not it. This all happened because they asked me to lend my sister-in-law some money and I refused.
What? Money? But you don't have any money in the first place.
Well, the truth is that I've been secretly saving some money in a separate account and I have around $40,000 put away. They found out about it and they wanted me to lend the money to my sister-in-law so she could do some expansion work on her new cafe.
Well, they can't do that. Why would they lend money to someone in such a precarious situation like that?
Well, because I wouldn't give it to them, Lois put her own house up for sale to get the money to help out with the cafe, and now she's come to live with us.
And what did your husband have to say about this?
He's just as bad as the two of them. He said that when a woman gets married, her money is essentially considered her in-laws' property, and I should just give it to them without complaint.
You remember that your dad and I said that we would pay for your house and car when you got married, right? But your husband was strongly against the idea, wasn't he? Why do you think that was? It was because he didn't want to feel like we had some kind of advantage over him, I think. I will not stand to see my daughter treated like this by anyone. I'll call the moving company right now to come and pick up all your stuff, and they'll take everything that you paid for, since he insisted on going 50-50 on everything.
Wait, what? Right now? Will they still be open at this time?
It's okay. Your dad is friends with the guy who runs the place, so he'll make an exception for you. Just grab all your clothes and shove them in a suitcase, and they will take care of the rest.
Mom, really, it's fine. I can sort this out by myself. I am going to divorce him.
You've always been very independent, and you've always rejected my offers to help you out, but this time I'm not going to let you do this by yourself. I need to see that despicable husband of yours and his mother knocked off their high horses immediately. Gather up all your valuables and get ready for the movers to come. I'll send your brother round too, so that Lois will be too intimidated to try anything, even if she wants to. And make sure you record every single thing she says if she starts cursing you out again, okay?
Thank you so much, Mom.
Have you gone mad? My mom said that a bunch of movers showed up and started taking stuff out of our house. What on earth is going on right now? I am canceling this business trip and coming home right this instant. So you'd better be there waiting for me. Don't you dare go anywhere. And don't you dare move any more stuff. What do you think you're doing, Maeve? What have you done to my poor mom? She just called me crying, saying that a bunch of strangers stole a bunch of her stuff and took it out of the house.
I'm busy, so can we just talk about this later? And both of you should stop making such a fuss. All I've done is take back the gifts I bought her over the years. The way you're talking, anyone would think that I'd gone and stolen all your mom's stuff.
You'd better tell these movers to stop what they're doing right now and bring everything back. Or at least tell them to wait until the morning. Why didn't you tell me that you were planning to do this?
Well, if I told you what was happening, you would have rushed over immediately and tried to stop me, wouldn't you? Just like you did with your mom moving in here. I decided not to tell you because I knew you would be against it. I'm sure you know what I'm going to say next, but I'm going to say it anyway. I am going to be filing for divorce, and I'm going to be cutting you off nice and cleanly. I wash my hands of both of you and your family, so now both your mom and your sister are your responsibility, and your responsibility alone.
Well, then you should have at least left the aircon behind when you leave. How can we survive without the aircon in the stifling summer heat?
Well, I clearly know what your priorities are, considering that the aircon is the first thing you considered. I've always been very independent, and I moved out of my parents' house as soon as I started college and started to live off my own money. I never once asked my parents for help or money, and I got used to living like that, but this time I was happy to accept their help and get myself out of this hellish situation. My parents have been very supportive of me since the divorce, and now I'm in Australia studying a master's in my dream subject. Oh, and after I filed for divorce, my husband actually came and apologized to me, admitting that everything he did to me was wrong. He even got down on his knees and started begging me for forgiveness. I wondered why he had a sudden change of heart, and after digging into it a little, I realized why he had done a complete 180 like that. It turns out that my instincts was right, and that his sister was in fact incapable of running a cafe, and she went out of business as fast as she had set it up. They kept using the excuse that it's still not easy for businesses to thrive in the current economic climate after the pandemic, but I think it's just because she was incredibly underprepared. Oh, and it turns out that my mother-in-law's house that she put up for sale in order to help out her daughter had decreased drastically in value, and it was only worth a quarter of the price she bought it for. Meanwhile, the house my parents helped get me after the divorce is already worth 7 times what it was at the time of purchase, so it looks like I'm set for the future. I'm still young, and thankfully I didn't have any children with my scumbag of an ex-husband, so I'm looking forward to building a new life with the right person one day.